Chapter 27. The Physical Layer. The data center for Client X was not in the glass tower in Long Island City. It was in a bunker in Tribeca, a windowless monolith of concrete and steel originally built to house telephone exchanges during the Cold War. Arthur Vane stood outside the service entrance. He was barefoot. His hospital gown was tucked into his ruined trousers, covered by a discarded trash bag he had fashioned into a poncho. He looked like garbage. He looked like a glitch in the rendering of the sidewalk. But his mind, floating on the toxic cocktail of Ativan and Percocet, was lucid. Objective, return to the source. Obstacle, biometric security. Variable, the shift change. It was 7:55 a.m. The night shift engineers were leaving. The day shift was arriving. Arthur leaned against a dumpster, watching the heavy steel door. He knew the protocol. He had written the efficiency standards for this building. Step 1, card swipe. Step 2, retinal scan. Step 3, man-trap entry. He couldn't pass step 1. He didn't have a card. But he knew about the smoker's algorithm. The night shift guys were tired. They wanted to go home. The day shift guys were groggy. They wanted coffee. When the door opened for the shift change, there was a window of approximately 45 seconds where the magnetic lock was disengaged to allow the flow of traffic. And smokers always propped the door. A man walked out. He was wearing a lanyard and a Client X hoodie. He stopped just outside the door to light a cigarette. He stuck his foot in the jamb to keep it from latching. Arthur waited. The man turned his back to the wind to cup his lighter. Arthur moved. He didn't run. Running drew the eye. He shambled. He moved with the erratic, non-threatening drift of the homeless. He slipped past the smoker. The man didn't even see him. He was too focused on the nicotine. Arthur slid through the crack in the door. He was in. The air inside was different. It was conditioned, filtered, and kept at a constant 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It smelled of ozone and hot copper. Arthur walked down the long concrete corridor. He kept his head down. He passed a security camera. He didn't care. By the time they saw him, by the time they dispatched a guard, he would be home. He reached the elevator. He pressed the button for the sub-basement. Level B3. The elevator didn't require a card for B3. It was the cooling level. The physical infrastructure. The doors opened. The noise hit him like a physical wave. Whir. It was the sound of 10,000 cooling fans spinning at 5,000 revolutions per minute. It was the sound of the universe breathing. Arthur walked into the server farm. Rows and rows of black racks stretched out into the darkness, illuminated only by the blinking green and blue LEDs of the activity lights. Blink, blink, blink. Data. Arthur walked down the aisle. He reached out and touched the metal mesh of a server rack. It was vibrating. He could feel the data flowing through the copper. Millions of transactions. Millions of lives recorded in binary. He felt a profound sense of envy. The servers didn't feel pain. They didn't have withdrawals. If a sector went bad, it was isolated. If a drive failed, it was hot-swapped. They were perfect. Arthur found a spot between rack 404 and rack 405. It was warm here, the exhaust heat from the processors blowing out into the aisle. He sat down on the anti-static floor tiles. He curled his legs under him. His bare feet were black with street grime and blood. He leaned his head back against the vibrating metal of rack 404. Error 404, not found. I am here, Arthur whispered to the machine. The Percocet was peaking. The pain in his feet faded to a dull throb. The anxiety that had driven him for 2 months finally unspooled. He closed his eyes. He visualized his own neural network. He saw the dendrites and the axons. He saw the chemical messengers, the dopamine, the GABA, the serotonin drying up like rivers in a drought. He needed to go offline. He needed a hard reset. He felt safe here. The noise drowned out the hallucinations. The blinking lights were better than the sun. He reached into his pocket. He found the crushed paper cup from the hospital. There was white powder at the bottom, the residue of the Percocet. He licked his finger and wiped the cup clean, sucking the bitter dust into his mouth. He didn't want to die. He just wanted to stop processing. Arthur Vane pulled his knees to his chest. He matched his breathing to the rhythm of the cooling fans. In. He was just another piece of hardware in the rack. He was just waiting for the admin to come and fix him, or replace him. His breathing slowed. The darkness of the room merged with the darkness in his mind. System standby.